Hi guys, Deanne here from Canada Abroad, and thanks for tuning in. On this week's FAQ Friday, we're answering the question that you guys asked for, which is, what is the easiest provincial nomination to get? Now, when I reviewed the different programs and was trying to come up with an answer for this, I focused on a few things. Number one, I looked at the provinces that don't require job offers, because we know it's quite difficult to get a job offer right now if you're not in Canada and you don't already have some kind of status. So Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Prince Edward Island, and Nova Scotia have programs that don't necessarily require a job offer, but then they're all different in the way that they select people. So if we're going to look at what's the easiest provincial nomination to get, I'm going to exclude Manitoba right now because they require that you have some kind of connection to the province, and not everybody has a friend or a relative living in that province. They also use their own scoring system that realistically right now, unless you have a direct family member living there or previous work experience or a job offer, it's quite hard to get the score that is required. So Alberta is definitely one of the easiest provincial nominations to get. You just have to be in the express entry system with a valid profile and a score of 300 or above to be considered. Then they just select people based on the occupations that they need. So this is where it's harder for some people, because if your occupation isn't required in that province, they won't select you. But you don't need a job offer, you don't need a high score, and you just have to be an express entry to be considered. So Alberta is definitely one of the easier ones to get. For Saskatchewan, what they do is, again, you don't need to have a job offer, but once you're in express entry, you have to do an expression of interest with them, and they give you a score based on their own provincial scoring system. Now, there's certain occupations that they will not allow to submit an application to them just because they have too many people in those occupations already, or it's just too hard to get registered. So most notably, accountants, teachers of primary or high school, they cannot submit an expression of interest with Saskatchewan. If you want to get the full list of who's excluded, just click in the description below and we'll provide you with that information. But Saskatchewan is one of the easier ones because you don't have to have a job offer. You don't have to have a high comprehensive ranking system score. It's just more dependent on how you're going to score on the Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program's scoring system itself. The next program is for Ontario. This one's a little bit more difficult to get because you have to have quite a high comprehensive ranking system score. And if we look at the scores that they've been picking most recently, it's way up in the 460s or 470s. So I'm going to say that this is not one of the easier ones to get right now, even though you don't have to have a job offer. If we look then at Prince Edward Island, lately they've really been focused on people who have a job offer. Even though it's not required, they really have been looking at people who have that job offer in place, or they've previously worked in Prince Edward Island. So I'm also going to skip over this one and say that it's not the easiest one to get right now. That takes us through to Nova Scotia. They are one of the easier ones at the moment. You just have to be in the express entry system with a valid profile, and basically you'd have to be able to get 67 points or higher on a scoring system similar to the federal skilled worker scoring system. And then what they do is they select people based on occupation. There's no set list of what they will take in the future. It's just whatever they need at that time. So as long as you're in the system with a valid profile and you know that you can at least get 67 points or higher on the federal skilled worker, they will look at you. If we look at the occupations they've picked previously, it's accountants, they've had registered nurses, carpenters, people who speak French and English, early childhood educators, heavy duty mechanics. So it's always changing. So this is one of the easier ones to get because it doesn't have a lot of specific requirements. So to recap, right now, the easiest provincial nominations that you can get would be from Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Nova Scotia, because they don't require job offers, they don't require connections to the province, and they don't require high comprehensive ranking system scores. So thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Canadian immigration news. And just if you have anything that you would like answered on next week's FAQ Friday, just pop it below in the comment section and hopefully we'll answer it for you next week.